Hey Kev, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Lee. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad at all. So we were having a little chat off camera about these head-to-heads, and one of the things that you raised to me was about having tricky or difficult conversations. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it comes up fairly regularly. It's a bit of an evergreen conversation, but it came up quite recently with one of the people that I've been coaching, and it's always difficult when people are feel they're put into difficult situations. I think difficult conversations can be when you're asking for something or asking for help with something that you feel maybe embarrassed about, or maybe you feel difficult about asking for what you want. And you kind of bottle things up, which is never healthy. So if you feel that you really are ready for a promotion, you've ticked all the boxes, you've gone through the promotional matrix, and you've hit all the skill sets that you're supposed to be hitting, and you're still waiting for that promotion, or you feel that you're being underpaid. It could be actually you're looking at other roles, other jobs, because you feel that you're being overlooked, and you're avoiding, asking difficult questions of maybe your employer. Or it may be that you want to report somebody who has been unkind. There could be a bully in the office. These are very difficult conversations. So I just got a few little pointers. But what's your taking on it? I mean, in your corporate career, on difficult conversations.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying sometimes being a bit embarrassed about something or having something difficult to talk about. It's amazing, isn't it, that we we go to work rather than being at home, we go to work in this exchange for money, and
Yeah,
quite often the big question or the big topic, which is about asking about pay rise, asking about that, is something that scares people to death.
yeah,
It's kind of I find it so interesting, but there's also other blockers, and there's lots of different types of people, aren't there? The introverts and extroverts, and people that have had good bosses and bad bosses. So those situations sometimes you might get completely blocked, by your boss, and you might be scarred about having the next conversation, maybe.
yeah. Well, one of the things that came up in this particular instance is, and the way that I kind of explained it is, I said, well, at the moment, it's very, very difficult to find good people. Always has been. It is very difficult to find good people. And companies are actively, recruiting, and they're doing extra things to make sure that life is very comfortable for their people as best as they can. And um, I put it in the conversation imagine that if you're the person who wants maybe a promotion, say, and you put yourself in the mindset of being the leader or the manager you've got to speak to, but you're that manager in 3 years' time. And if that person didn't come to you, who reports to you, and say to you and give you the opportunity to pay them more, to give them a promotion, and they just leave the company. And then you've got to recruit. You've got to find somebody who's got the skill set, somebody who fits into the culture, make sure they're bedded in. And I would much rather have, from my own teams that I built up, they came to me and they said, "Look, Kevin, I really want to move on. I want to become an account manager, a senior account manager. I need more money. I'm looking around the market. But wouldn't you rather them have that conversation with you? And then as a manager, you've got the opportunity to say, oh my God, Kevin, I didn't know you were feeling like that. Great, let's talk about it. Let's really sit down, put some time together. So isn't it better to have the conversation, get it out there, out this, don't let it build up inside yourself."
Totally. It makes me smile because I remember starting
Well, that's rare anyway.
yeah, exactly. We don't want too much of that. Um, but I remember starting at one company, and I was having one-to-ones with the different people working there, and there was a lady, and I said, "Would you ever want to work abroad?" And she said, "Who told you that?" And I was like, well, no one's told me. She said, "Well," I said, "I just thought you might want to work abroad at some point." And she said, "Yeah, me and my, other half, we do plan to do that. I just thought I could never raise something like that to you."
Wow,
And I
wow.
said, "Well, surely if we can keep you in the organisation, luckily it was a global organisation with lots of different offices,
Yeah,
keep you, then that's fantastic. So isn't that exactly the kind of conversations we should have? And it was such a surprise to me that I shocked her, and that she thought that it was clearly something that she was never ever going to mention to me.
Yeah.
And
I think that's absolutely wonderful, and it's such a great, it just shows that up so much. And I think what happens sometimes is that we're so buried in our work, we don't think about, our line managers higher up the chain, at the executive level, or board, or C-suite, is the fact that they can't. Sometimes we're not valuing ourselves. We're not making a noise. We're not making people aware, and somehow that they've got to intuit, like you accidentally did, that there's something they would like, or something they want to do. And as I said earlier, that they would, I would far rather that you told me this, so I could come together with you, and hopefully appease your fears, or help you. So, imagine if you're in a situation in the office where you're being bullied, or somebody's being rude to you, or sexist, or whatever it may be, and you can't raise that. I mean, it's just such a terrible thing. So I've got a few things that I was going to just sort of I'm a bit more direct. You're a little bit more softer skills. So what's your way, your methodology? That I know we do this in the training, in some of our leadership training, and some of the stepping up management training we do. So what was the methodology you were going to explain?
well, I quite liked. So another coach down in Paris introduced me to. I mean, it's been around since the 1970s, but the NVC
So have I.
kind of process. Yeah, all the good ones have. But yeah, non-violent communication, which in itself sounds awful and violent and everything it is, but it's about observations, feelings, needs, and requests. So what I'm observing is this. How that makes me feel is this. What I need is that moving forward, and how can I request that we do things differently in the future? We'll maybe go into it, more deeply in another kind of session, another video. But the feelings is because no one can argue with your feelings and how you feel about something.
Totally.
And when you are having a difficult conversation, if I'm feeling underwhelmed, undervalued, if I'm feeling lonely, if I'm feeling happy or sad, then that is your own feeling that you own yourself. So yeah, that was mine. How about yourself? What would you?
Yeah, well, I'm always a bit more direct, but no, I do love that. I do love that not violent communication. It's a good thing. We definitely will do a session on that. So I always look at it as a sales kind of thing, really. And I'm thinking, right, what do I want? What do I want from this meeting? And I think about it sometimes. I know it sounds ridiculous, but when I go and see my friends, or friends I haven't seen for a long time, I think, well, what do I want to come out of this meeting? I want to have a great time. I want them to have missed me. I want to, tell them about this and tell them about that. So I'm thinking about what outcome do I want? If I go into a sales brief, I want, right, I want to come out with the work, or I want to come out with some more information to get the work. So I always sit down with a piece of paper, and it's just so simple, particularly when a lot of this is done online. And you can just take a card in with you and put your thoughts on it. So I put on there, what is the outcome I want? What do I want? I want to blow the whistle about something. I'm feeling upset. I'm feeling bullied. I'm feeling abused. I'm not feeling valued. So put that as your intention. What is your intention? And what is the perfect outcome? I want this person to be removed. I want this discussion to be outed. So put your outcome and your purpose of the meeting at the top of your piece of paper, and then 3 points that you want to raise. The 3 things. I deserve promotion. I've done my promotional matrix. I've hit all of the skill sets. I've done all of the job specifications for the manager above me, and and I've been waiting quietly in the wings. I've mentioned it in my review, and I haven't got it. So make sure that you've got these things down on a bit of paper, particularly if you're not so gobby like me. You may be shy, or you may be overly polite, or you may be introverted, and that's absolutely brilliant, because you'll have a different way of putting it across. But write it down and be polite. But be firm.
Yeah.
So that's my tips for it.
Great. Well, I love the preparation, the writing things down.
Yeah, you do.
But
and you're very good
away from the directors. But that's why we work together, because we're yin and yang, isn't it? So
perfect. And that comes across in the coaching.
Wonderful discussing it with you today. And let's do another one very soon.
Cheers, Lee.
Cheers.